Welcome to the Fitness After 40 podcast. I'm Josh Proch. I'm here with my wife, Tammy Proch, and we're going to talk to you guys today a little bit about some mistakes made in Fitness After 40. And this is going to be one of our a recurring theme here for the next few episodes, just different mistakes that we see a lot of people make in their fitness, and especially in their fitness after 40. So today's topic is talking about thinking that you're still in your 20s when you're working out now after 40, and things are different. I mean, we all want to think that we're younger and everything like that, but there are some things that we do have to accept and understand that play into our training and keep us feeling good. Before we get into that, we do have here in the gym going on right now our Recommit to Fit challenge, and this is a free challenge for our members. And when you're listening to this, I think we'll be like a day or two into the challenge here. So if you haven't got set up with it and you'd like to, let us know. We'll get you all the information for that. But it's basically just giving you a few things to focus on each day through the month of January here to help you get back on track with your fitness, with your nutrition, back into your old habits and everything like that. Because I know a lot of people, they've, over the last month with the holidays here, they've fallen off a little bit. So this kind of helps give you that kickstart and that focus to get back into the habits that you were into there. So along with that, we've also put a survey out for members. We'll be getting you guys kind of the results from that and stuff too, with some of the things. We've had some good feedback in there as well too, so we appreciate you for filling that, taking the time to fill those out for us as well too. So, all right, so like we were saying, one of the things that we see with clients is them coming in and wanting to go, kind of like balls to the wall, or being able to do things the way that they did things in their 20s. And our bodies are just different, and we have to adjust things and do things differently, and that means having some recovery time and stuff like that in there. What are your thoughts on that, Tammy?
I agree. You can still work out hard and push yourself after 40, but it takes a little more recovery time. It takes more downtime to bounce back from that. And it's hard because, even with our marketing, when we started making this our quote niche, like you Google for an image for your marketing, fitness after 40, and it's people sitting in a chair with pink dumbbells. And so there's such a vast array, like it's just such a wide variety of what people look at, and it's like, no, you probably shouldn't be working out like you were 20 again, but it's not the pink dumbbells with the chair. It's just, I found myself, it takes more downtime, recovery to just recover. I can push myself hard, but I've got to recover, and I can't just, and the other thing I find too is nutrition really comes into play a lot more so after 40, because you need the right nutrients to kind of help your body rejuvenate and repair, recover, and all that stuff. It really comes into play.
Well, how about even like when we do like the true hits and some of the stuff that like, especially on like the air dynes and things like that, where we do like on a day that we're not working out, but it's like the 10 seconds on, and then you've got like, we usually do 2 minutes off on that, and you might only do 6 rounds seems to be about good. When we've done 10, how it just, you're messed up for a while.
Yeah,
like your whole body's
messed up. Spaghetti
up.
Legs, that's for sure.
And it affects you the next day and things like that. So that's definitely something, is the intensity can still be there, but we need more recovery time, and we need more rest time. And we talk about that all the time with the days that we have our heavier lifting. Like it takes 2 minutes in between sets and things like that just to get kind of recovered back. And I think that with the client, it all depends on kind of where they are in their fitness, journey and stuff like that.
Sure.
But definitely, the newer you are, you probably don't need as much rest and things, but as more advanced, you get more, you get stronger, you're able to handle more weight and things like that. It just requires more recovery time from it, because you can create a lot more damage in your body than you could when you were kind of getting started and things like that.
Sure.
What do you, I think I know your thoughts on this, but like thoughts of like 1 rep mats is after 40, like.
I think they have their place. And it varies so much on the person. Some people, you have athletes coming in who've, beat up their bodies through high school, college, sports. They're going to come in with a little more injuries than those of us who didn't play any sports in high school or college. So it's just it just depends on the person.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. Definitely, there's nothing that's necessarily off limits. I do think that's a misconception that people have with fitness after 40. Like it's like for old people stuff. Do you guys still work out? I hear those comments sometimes with like starting points and things like that. Well, am I still gonna be able to be pushed hard? And yeah, the answer is you will be.
And that varies from day to day.
Person and day to
day. Like some days I'll, walking lunges, weighted, that love-hate relationship, you love them, or you hate them, but they're going to build you those great-looking legs. And then you have other days where you're like, you try to do it, and your knees are like, nope, not today, girl.
Yeah.
And you just don't do them that day. But a lot of people will beat themselves up in here or make they feel bad about themselves. They're like, oh, this hurts me. I can't do this. Well, number one, it doesn't mean you can't do it ever. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's just the day. Like, after 40, you get up, something's always hurting. Toe, a foot, a knee. Yeah. Like, it's just always these random aches and pains. And it's just the way it is. So you work around that. But that doesn't mean you can't do it maybe next week. Or maybe it truly isn't the right exercise for you. And that doesn't mean you're weak or out of shape or whatever. There's just, people's legs, femurs, there were different lengths and like not every exercise is right for every build and every person. And like I always whine to you, I struggle so hard on getting pull-ups myself, and how you pointed out, like I've got very long limbs, it's going to be easier for a person with short limbs. Like there's just things you have to take into consideration instead of just being like, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah, but like the one modification you made for one lady a few months ago, just and we see this with a lot of clients. She had an issue with her big toe joint, and we see a lot of clients with that, whether it's bunions or just arthritis in there. So she was having trouble just even being in a plank with that toe bend in, and you're like, here, let's put a medicine ball underneath that. So the one foot was still on the ground, but the other one had that medicine ball under there, and she's able to do that. And I kind of did the same thing with one guy I was working with too here not too long ago. Reverse lunges were hurting him because he's stepping back. So we put his foot in TRX and had him go up. I mean, it was harder that way because of the stability. But again, we just took the foot out of that. So there's always ways to work around things, and there's really no shame in that.
No.
Like in changing things. And even if you did 3 sets, you did more weight last week on what you're doing today. Some days it's just not your day, and there's no shame in, cutting it a little bit short if you're not feeling it, or going a little bit lighter. You just maybe didn't sleep well, or maybe you haven't eaten as well and things the last few days and stuff, and it's all going to play in there a little bit with it. So, I think that's a big mistake, is we all just think like, hey, I did this back. We forget that we're not 20 anymore.
Oh, your body will remind you very quickly though.
Yeah.
Just like when you're out having drinks, if you have too many, your body will remind you you're not 21 anymore.
Switch just flips. Like, you can't do this anymore. It's going to take me 4 days to get back to normal. So, but yeah, and that's our goal, is we want to keep you guys healthy. We want you guys to be healthy. I mean, that's really why we're working out, is to stay healthy, to have that longevity, and keep doing the things we want to do. And if you're getting hurt, or you're getting hurt because you're pushing yourself too hard and things like that, that's all going to negatively affect the long-term outcome that we're all after here.
The biggest thing, you have to listen to your body, because if you have pain, that's your body's way of telling you something's not right. Mm-hmm. And you need to listen, because if you try to push through that, chances are you're going to put yourself out for weeks or a month or more, if instead of just listening to it and say, nope, this isn't my friend today. So there's plenty of ways to attack the muscle that we're trying to work, so we can change it up very easily.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we done things like on like a deadlift day, and you're just like, I just don't have the grip today and stuff, so it either ends up going a lot lighter, or we just go do something totally different, or skip it that day, or whatever.
But I'm always amazed too, when we go a little bit lighter on those days, I'm really sore the next day, because I think because we go lighter, you're really concentrating. I mean, so there's a place for it all. Like, it's just really interesting how,
And you can go slower.
That's
you know,
absolutely.
and that makes a difference too. So that, you know, changes the intensity in a different way from just being weight based.
Well, how we've kind of talked about, we feel better doing something every day,
Mm-hmm.
which we do, but it's not a beat down every day. It's not a heavy lift every
No.
day. Like, you cycle in and out of that. But just especially with us, you and I sitting at the desk a lot more because we're not training as
Mm-hmm.
much, working on more office stuff. It's just to get up and move and do something feels really good. But I can't get up cold from my desk and go run 5 miles. That just beats the crap out of me.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, and it's the same thing. Like with, I think we were talking about this yesterday morning when we were working out. It's just, you know, doing some, like, if we were gonna lift like 5 days a week or something, it needs to be shorter workouts, less
Yeah.
movements, things like that. But we always come back to the same problem: is when you do that, you've got to break things up, and if you miss something during the week, then you miss a whole movement pattern, a whole grouping of stuff.
I like
It's
the
just hard.
3 to 4 because it's
Yeah.
doable for most. I mean, some people can only get in 2 times a week, and anything's better than nothing. But yeah, and then just the other days we're doing a light boot camp or a hit
Yeah.
or a short run or just something. Like, you're just doing something to move around a little bit.
Yeah, just getting up and moving. And for a lot of people, that can be just getting up from the desk and walking and doing some stuff like
Take
that.
some
doing
stairs.
some stretches. Yeah, like
Park
just,
further away from the door, like all
Yeah.
kinds of little things.
Yeah.
And steps are really important. Like, that's probably the most underappreciated movement because just getting steps in. I mean, they've done a lot of studies, and you can 3 hours in the gym is completely undone if you don't get at least 8,000. They said the lowest would be 8,000 steps a day. So, I mean, that's huge when you think about it, because people will come in here and kill themselves in the gym,
Mm-hmm.
and they want to curl out of here feeling like they got their asses kicked. But then if you go home and lay down and don't do anything, like, if you're not getting those steps, it's just all pieces of the puzzle that you have to, think about now versus when you're 21. You just don't have to think about those
you just
things.
recover faster. You can go, beat yourself up, and then tomorrow be right back at it, and you're fine. Where now it all does, it takes a toll. And
It does.
It's balancing that and everything. So, and I think time of the year plays into that. With what all's going on in your life. If you're busier, you're gonna have less time to sleep. You're gonna have, maybe not eating as well. So you might not be able to push as hard on your workout. So you
No,
gotta
if
pull
you
back.
had some processed food and a lot of carbs and
Mm-hmm.
processed carbs and stuff the night before, you're just not going to have it as well in the gym the next morning as if you had a steak and vegetables for dinner. Like,
Yeah.
it all comes into play.
Well, I think one of the things I read was about if you have one serving of fried food, it creates inflammation in your body that stays there for the next 48 or hours or so, like that, which is, if that is 100% true. I'm not sure how you necessarily measure that.
Yeah.
But it's the question that I had with that is, well, how often are people eating fried foods with things? They're getting that inflammation. I mean, there's constant inflammation present from that.
Oh, inflammation is huge. Like, I know a lot of people will just freak on the scale if they go up a couple pounds, but a lot of times if it's from the night before, it's inflammation and some water weight. It's not fat. It's just, and on any given day, your weight fluctuates 1 to 5 pounds. And sometimes there is no rhyme or reason. You might have eaten very healthy, and maybe you're just a little bloated, or a lot of times there's no reason why you can put your finger on. It just is the way it is, and people just need to relax a little bit
and just go with how you're feeling. That's probably the biggest thing. Probably big takeaway is just go with how your body feels, and the days that you feel like you can push it a little bit more, but the days that you're like, hey, I just need to pull back, go ahead and pull back a little bit from there. So so I think that's a good place to kind of stop today with that. But like I said, we're going to continue with this, and each week for the next few weeks have a different fitness after 40 mistake that we see people make. And if you are making one of these mistakes, it's not something to feel bad about. It's just, we're doing this to help you, help you get better results and, stay healthy. So we'll talk to you here next week. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts and rate and review us.